Two large Turkish shepherd dogs, the Shivas Kangal and the Aksaray Malakli. Two legendary dog breeds that almost all dog enthusiasts are curious about. How do they compare to each other, in what they differ from each others? Which one is faster and which is stronger? How did they develop and what were they used for? In this part, we will explore this topic and try to provide satisfactory answers to these questions. Of the two breeds, Kangal is undoubtedly better known than the Malakli, about whom, by the way, much has already been said on this channel. The Kangals are named after the town of Kangal in Shivas County in Turkey, a region that is undoubtedly the most serious breeding center of this breed. According to recent DNA research, the ancestors of Kangals might have been the descendants of dogs that once lived in the Kazakh, Kyrgyz, Turkmen and Uzbek wild territories, who may have entered what is now Turkey with the former nomadic Turkic tribes as accompanying shepherd dogs. This research also refuted earlier theories that the Kangals are the descendants of ancient molossers, which still appear in materials produced by the Turkish marketing steamroller to this day. In recent centuries, the Kangals have perfectly adapted themselves to the vast spaces of the endless Anatolian plateau and the livestock culture there, perfectly performing their duties in the protection of farm animals alongside the shepherd communities. Since the Asian wolves, which are the main predators in this region, are significantly smaller in size than those of the European gray wolf and the North American timber wolves, they were indeed able to effectively protect themselves and the flocks against them. Kangals have amazing physical abilities, and despite their large stature, they are astonishingly agile and fast, and the strength of their bite is typically among the top 5 dogs with the strongest bite force in all the literature dealing with this topic. In contrast to the Kangals, Aksaray Malaklis, who also known as Aksaray Malaklisi or Malakli Karabağ, is a huge, or giant breed of shepherd dog from the province of Aksaray, Turkey. Although many people colloquially consider them as the larger and heavier versions of the Kangals, precisely the DNA tests mentioned earlier that showed that this is not the case. Despite the Malaklis' black mask and color similarity, they carry a different genetic heritage than Kangals. This is partly reflected in their appearance, since they are much larger, have a differently shaped head with mastiff-type loose lips, which is not at all characteristic of Kangals. Their tail posture is straight. Moreover, their character is significantly more offensive, dominant and aggressive towards other dogs and strangers. Malaklis have traditionally been used in part for flock guarding duties. According to Turkish sources, a pair of Malaklis were protected a flock of 700 to 800 sheep and they were widespread around cow herds. At the same time, they also played an important part in the preservation of property and territory, as well as in dog fights, which were extremely popular in Anatolia. The main expectations regarding the Malaklis were not primarily speed and agility, but the raw, overwhelming strength and attacking ability, the ability to destroy the foreign, attacking opponents by all means. The role of Malaklis, therefore, unlike Kangals, was not to keep away, chase, and fend off predators around the flocks, but to combat and annihilate aliens who might come close to the flock or the ranch where they served. Considering their size and weight, which can exceed 100 centimeters at the withers and 80 to 90 kilograms in weight, these dogs were not and are not suitable for long-lasting persistent pursuits. If we would like to accurately illuminate the difference between the two breeds with a Second World War analogy, the role of the Kangal can perhaps be compared to that of the light, fast-moving but still very effective Panzer III tanks, while the Malakli is a slow-moving, but deadly Tiger tank with serious armor and weight. Regarding both breeds, it can be said that neither of them are fit for novice or beginner dog owners, neither mimosa souls. They are simply not a good choice for those who believe that from these ancient Turkish shepherd dogs it is possible to raise doggies, in quotation marks, who can be integrated well into urban surroundings with positive attitude and running them for a few hours a day. For both breeds, their genes encode the past and the expectations that have been placed on them in Anatolia for centuries. If we talk about Kangals, in a previous interview, an expert, who has been working with working shepherd dogs for decades, shared his experience with the European integration trials of Kangals and told us about the problems that Kangals had to face in regions of narrower extent, in the absence of the huge spaces of Anatolia, and what problems they cause to their surroundings. You can watch this interview by clicking on the link in the upper right corner of the screen. If we are talking about Malaklis, we should not think of a Great Dane, an English or other modern Mastiff breeds, who are close to them in size, but who have become fully socialized, but a rock-hard dog, very distrustful of strangers, with a highly offensive tendency, who do not tolerate other dogs and other people, which in this sense exceeds the expectations of the average dog owner of our time regarding a guard breed. Malakli is a very serious weapon that does not need to be used. It automatically puts itself into service if they feel that there is any threat to their owner or his family, whether it is other animals or people acting suspiciously to them. And at last, but not least, are those legends true that these two dog breeds are real wolf killers and that these breeds are capable of defeating wolves in a direct confrontation? Well, there is no clear answer to this question, because a lot can depend on the circumstances, the location and, of course, on which subspecies of wolves are involved. According to the realistic accounts of shepherds and shepherd dog breeders who occasionally encounter such situations, especially when it comes to gray wolves of larger stature, no breed of dog can do this on its own. Maybe in a pack, but it's also a very rare case. The task of efficient and properly working shepherd dogs, by the way, is not this, namely to engage the wolves in direct combat, but rather, working in packs, to put so much pressure on the wolf that the wolf, without confrontation, give up further attempts and find easier prey for himself. Of course, any such contacts can turn into an extreme form from time to time and a wolf can fall victim to a pack of shepherd dogs. However, a more common case is that a more daring or solitary shepherd dog falls victim to a wolf or pack of wolves. We do not publish such recordings, as we could easily be placed on YouTube's ban list, but there are many recordings circulating online where the skeletons of a frivolous Kangals killed by wolves are found by their owners in Anatolia, where the wolves living in the region are usually smaller in stature than in Europe or North America. In a confined space, like in an arena, the heavier and stronger Malakli obviously have much higher chances of victory, but such cases do not occur very often in reality, only in marketing films produced by the Turks, with wolves raised in captivity from a young age.